So the purpose of this interview is to learn about your experiences with an illness and/or injury, and the medical community involved with it, and referring to the facts and how those facts made you feel about your injury or illness. So to start things off, let's start off by getting to know you as an individual first. Tell me about yourself. Do you work? Ethnic background? What grade are you in? Any religious beliefs or family relationships that you feel tie into this?
Well, I volunteer at Tampa General Hospital. I'm Cuban, Italian, Hungarian. I am a senior in high school, and I'm Christian. I don't think I have any family relations to connect to this particularly. But.
Okay. Can you tell me about your injury and how it happened?
Sure. I was in a car accident. I shattered my tibia, fibula, and talus. I cut an artery in the accident. I bruised some nerves in my foot. I was non-weight bearing for 3 months. Went to physical therapy right after that to start walking.
How did this injury make you feel? How did it impact you?
I was actually kind of depressed for a while in the beginning because it was a complete change from going from running to walking to I couldn't even move my foot, I couldn't move my toes for about 5 months, and it literally felt like it wasn't even my foot.
Okay. How did this impact your family, this injury? Because it sounds it's pretty serious.
Yeah, well, everyone was really concerned. They're still kind of concerned, but I'm walking a lot better now. In the beginning, everyone was I was fragile. Everyone was caring and was making sure there was one step behind me every time I walked. But they're very helpful, so.
So your family had to help you a lot?
Yeah.
And you had to rely on them for certain things that you never used to have to?
Yeah. I went from being completely independent to depending on everyone. Okay.
And that probably had to lead into the depression then.
Yeah, it did.
That leads into the next question. How did it make you feel to have to rely on others for help when you were used to being so independent?
It did make me pretty sad most of the time because I didn't like having someone to walk behind me when I went to the bathroom. I liked being by myself and doing things on my own. It made me feel independent, but I couldn't do this during this accident at all. I couldn't even walk and go get something to eat. I had to get someone to help me to do that, to get water, everything like that. And I still can't even walk properly. I still limp pretty bad, but.
So yeah, the lack of independence leads to a lack of privacy and so forth, and that gets pretty taxing, right. For sure. What was it like for you to have to adjust to this injury?
It was pretty painful. It was a complete change in my whole lifestyle, I'd say, from this point on. It was different because it's imagining that you could run a mile or two, but from you can't even walk 10 feet without feeling exhausted, or that you're in pain, that your foot just cramps up and you can't bend it. So adjusting is very difficult at first, but now it's been 9 months and it's kind of getting used to it, but it's still not normal.
How did you cope with all that, getting through that?
Well, family was also very helpful. They encouraged me to be okay. I also had physical therapists that helped a lot during this, and they helped me to the point where I'm at that I can jog, which is pretty extreme. It's great. And everyone around me is pretty supportive. So.
That's good. I'm sure this has to do with a lot of that, but how did the environment impact your injury?
Well, anything more than normal, like extreme heats or extreme colds, will instantly stiff up my foot, and it kind of sucks, but it's not great. Let's put it that way.
Did you notice an impact in not being able to get into places that you were before, or because it sounds like you couldn't walk, so were you in a wheelchair, or were you
Yes, I was.
crutches?
I was for the first 3 months, I was mostly in wheelchairs. I'd only ever use crutches if I was going to tight spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, at my house, I have stairs, and I had to use a chairlift because I couldn't go up the stairs. Or even, like, now, I still can't push off with my foot completely, and I couldn't at all back then. So I'd mostly, like, sit on and, like, push myself up the stairs, which was also very different.
Yeah, that's for sure. What was your relationship like with your healthcare providers? Did they do anything particularly helpful for you? Did they do anything that wasn't so helpful? Something that you wish they would have done differently?
Well, they're all very helpful. At physical therapy, they had me walking on treadmills, lifting weights to improve my balance, my stability, and my strength on everything, including both feet, since obviously they both had to lose some strength from not weight bearing for 3 months. And that helped a lot because back then, like I said, I couldn't even like push my feet up or walk or go on my toes or anything. But now I can go on both toes, and it helped a lot with my everyday life. So without that, that would probably been.
What about other healthcare practitioners, like nurses or doctors? What was the relationships like with them going through this? I mean, it had to have been pretty traumatic hearing from the doctor all the major surgeries you're going to have to go through and stuff.
Right. I wasn't too excited at first in the hospital. It was pretty scary listening to all the things that was wrong, like cutting arteries, that I will have arthritis from like something people don't usually get until they're older or like they maintain it, but already at such a young age I have like a tremendous amount of arthritis from trauma and from my talus because it died. So I have arthritis from that, but it was scary hearing all of that. But nurses were encouraging too. Everyone was not putting me down. They were helping me a lot during it.
It's important to motivate and encourage the patient who's impacted to stay positive. That's the most important factor. Who do you feel made the biggest impact in your recovery? It could have been anyone. It could have been nurse, doctor, physical therapist, etc. But exclusively in the medical field, who do you feel helped you recover the most?
I feel my physical therapist did. They really did help me get a lot of my strength, my balance, everything to help me like do my everyday lives. They like helped me with that. I mean, doctors and everything, they told me what I could do, but physical therapists actually helped me do it.
Mm-hmm. So doctors helped you, like they fixed you, but the physical therapist gave you your mobility and your life back.
Right.
So, makes sense. That's what physical therapists do. Why do you feel this way about that?
Because looking back at it, I can sit in a doctor's office and they can tell me what to do, but that doesn't mean when I get home I'd actually do it. But by going to physical therapy, it encourages me to see the results every time I go back, how much I've improved on that one task that they've taught me to do. Like I can go from day one starting to do something and then do different things without the week, because I had to go multiple times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd go back and we start back at the beginning and try it again, but the next week, and I would be 2 times better than I was at first. And that sort of excited me to see that what the physical therapist helped me do. So it was pretty
Yeah, it's definitely encouraging to be able to see those results, especially that fast with something like that. And right. I can definitely see going somewhere and having to do that, have the therapist motivate you and stuff, you're definitely going to get more impact out, whether versus it's just a post-op and you go in and they just throw you some exercises and do this on your own. I mean, I'd probably say 90% of the people probably don't end up doing that, so yeah. Overall, what would you say was your experience with this injury? Was it positive, negative, neutral, eye-opening?
I guess it varied. It was very eye-opening, I have to say that. It made me appreciate things that I could do before that I can't really do now. But, I guess it's pretty neutral. I mean, it's not so negative anymore because I see that every day goes on and I go to physical therapy, I'm continuing to get better. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I mean, it's eye-opening.
Negative in the fact that you had to deal with this, but positive in
course.
the fact that, I mean, you learned a lot from it. Unfortunately, like, life throws you curveballs like this, but makes you stronger.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.